Now, we all know in this game that having a maxed out mod equipped can truly be the difference between having a good build and a great one. And since the reintroduction of incursions with Year 5 Season 2, I have been getting a lot of questions in regard to mods from new and returning players. Therefore, today, my friends, we're going to take a few minutes, go over some details, and as always, answer some of the questions you've sent the channel. What is going on, my YouTube family? Welcome back to the Gaming Brigade. And one thing I'd like to mention as we start this video off is that if you happen to have any questions I did not address in this video about farming mods, please let me know in the comment section and I will do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. If you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well. And we are having a giveaway for a PlayStation 5. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced December 31st of this year. Now, we are going to start this thing off by my answering the number one question I get at the channel in regard to mods, and that is, can you optimize them? And to be very clear, there is no way whatsoever to adjust the percentage of a mod once you get it. It is what it is. And to give you a quick example, let's say you're trying to get a 12% crit hit damage mod and you get one to drop at 11%. There's no way whatsoever to make up that 1%, and I know it can drive you crazy. I mean, look, there have been times I've been trying to get a 12%er and I get 11.9, which makes me absolutely mental. So my advice is very simple, fellow agents. If you get something that is close to perfect, hang on to it until you actually get the one you want. That is now going to take us to the topic of what is the best way to farm for mods in the game. And if you're looking for sheer numbers, you want to hit a countdown without a doubt. Now, having said that, on a personal note, I have never gotten a maxed out mod playing countdown, but who gives a about my gameplay? It is about what works best, and from everything I've heard from the community, this is the way to go. Now, one final thing I want to mention as we move on is that if you are going to be using countdown to farm for mods, you want to make sure you have space in your mod inventory. You can see in the bottom right hand corner, I have 43 spots filled out of 100. I recommend rolling into countdown with at least 50 spots available, and that is completely and totally separate from your inventory on top. And always remember, when it comes to this game mode, you want to be able to roll into it with a bunch of inventory space. That way you can pick up the loot, move on, because one of your main goals is to clear these as quickly as possible. Next, my friends, we're going to talk about what difficulty should you choose, and most of you know this by now, but I'm going to say it anyway. In this game, the higher the difficulty that you play on is going to equate to better loot on a more consistent basis, but it is not a guarantee you're going to get anything maxed out. So even if you play this on challenging, you still have a chance to hopefully get exactly what you're looking for. Now, when it comes to the open world, the area that you're going to find a specific loot type is going to change on a daily basis. You are looking at today's map, so if you wanted your best chance of picking up mods in the game in the open world today, you are going to need to farm DARPA research labs over and over again, and that can get extremely tedious. So if you like to farm in the open world as I do, I recommend waiting until the targeted loot is in a larger section of the map. And for those of you that may not know, when looking at the map, the small icons indicate loot that is tied behind a mission, and the large icons indicate loot that is tied into a certain area. And always remember, things can randomly drop at any time. However, you always want to stack the odds in your favor, which is why the targeted loot system is incredibly helpful. And as most of you know, you can set it to anything you want in countdown at any time, which brings me to one more important point, and that is you want to make sure when it comes to countdown, you stay as long as you possibly can. Do not pop the flare until there's about 10 seconds left. And the reason I say that is because when these enemies continuously spawn from the helicopter, they are going to continue to drop loot as well. So in the last minute of gameplay, I think I wind up getting an additional dozen or so mods. And if you're like me and you only have a certain amount of time to play this game, you want to make sure you maximize every minute you have. Now, one question I get from a lot of new and returning players jumping back into the game is if there is a way to focus on a specific mod type, meaning, is there any way to up your chances to get an offensive or defensive mod instead of a skill one, or vice versa? And the answer is no. It is completely and totally random, which brings me to the last point of this video. And that is everyone's experience playing this game is going to be different. I know people out there that get God rolled mods all the time and they cannot get an exotic item to drop for the life of them. And on the flip side, and I'll use myself as an example, I've been trying to get a 13% protection from elite mod to drop for years now. Like, it's been a very, very long time. I don't really hunt for it like on a daily basis, but I can promise you I've spent 2-3 hour sessions trying to get that thing, no luck whatsoever. I talked to someone else, they drop for them non-stop. So remember, fellow agents, do not let it discourage you. It is all totally random, and as always, any questions you have, please let me know. With all that being said, I'm going to start to wrap this thing up. Now, I am going to leave you with the gameplay footage of the loot that I picked up in 2 runs of Countdown. One was on Challenging, one was on Heroic. On Challenging, I picked up 37 mods and about 15 minutes of gameplay, which is insanely efficient. On Heroic, I got about 26 mods and about 18 minutes of gameplay. And remember, fellow agents, if you do not see a major difference in running Challenging or Heroic when it comes to Countdown, I recommend sticking to Challenging, because chances are every run you attempt, you are going to be able to clear it, as Heroic can get sideways pretty quick. That is going to do it for this thing. I sincerely appreciate the privilege of your time, and as I mention at the end of every one of these, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, but most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.
Hold tight. Helo inbound to your location. Ready for extraction.
Safe area entered.